Hey everyone, so today coming up with one more video, and today we will be learning about the dental impression material ka classification. This is a very important classification which is being asked in exams and whatnot, Viva especially, and MCQs too. Oh my god, you cannot even ask that. And it's useful because we use it in day-to-day clinical practice, we use it in preclinical exercises, so it's just very important to know the little differences between each classification, each strata of the dental impression material.
Here in this video, we are firstly gonna brief about the classification system of impression material, dental impression material, and it is very important, asked in exam, useful for all the clinical situations which you are going to learn from third year onwards, and in general practice also this is very much required to get an idea about the dental impression materials. And in the later aspects of this video or in the other videos we will be reading about the very common findings or specialities about those impression material like mechanical properties and these things. But firstly, just let's ease it down and just recall this classification. Impression material divided into rigid or inelastic and elastic. In the rigid, which is not elastic, there are four types: impression plaster, impression compound, zinc oxide eugenol, and impression waxes. First we'll read it and then I'll tell you in what sort MCQs are being asked. Plaster, impression plaster is just a simple impression plaster is mucostatic because it doesn't compress the tissues. Firstly, impression compound mucocompressive because you remember while making CT अपन सबसे पहले जो compound use करते थे brownish color compound, that is mucocompressive because we press it against the tissues. That's why it is mucocompressive. ZOE again mucostatic, we just put it, we do not compress it much. That's why it's brittle also. During the final impression that we take for CT, we just put it on the tray, and every work what is being done is done by the special tray. Mostly the ZOE just sets in. Then impression waxes against it again, it will be compressive because it is gonna compress the tissues. So these are like that, but these are all rigid because they are not elastic that they will once you make it and they will reform into their own structure, on own back structure, so that's why they are rigid, they are not elastic. But in elastic there are hydrocolloids and there are elastomeric impression material. Hydrocolloids में we have agar and we have alginate. Agar is a reversible because reversible means you're forming I mean reaction हो रहा है and then इसके बाद में it is again getting converted to the original structure. But irreversible, why hydrocolloid irreversible alginate is called as irreversible? Because once you mix that alginate powder and you get a thick paste of it, then it cannot convert back to the original alginate powder again. So that's why it is irreversible. We use alginate mostly in making impressions, okay, in day-to-day use, RPTs and everything, okay, FPDs. Then elastomeric impression materials. In elastomeric impression material we have very famous four: polysulfide, condensation silicon, polyvinyl siloxane. Remember, polyvinyl siloxane is also known as addition polysilicon, and lastly polyether. We will be reading, there is so much to read about the elastomeric impression material which cannot be covered in just one slide or one topic. There is so much, but just know that each one of them has its own advantages, has its own disadvantages. But to just brief it down, polysulfide has the most tear strength, condensation, and it what is the byproduct of reaction of the polysulfide? It is water. Remember, water is it is also a condensation reaction, okay, but the byproduct is water. And in the condensation silicon, even though there is a condensation reaction, but the byproduct is ethyl alcohol. The condensation reaction is what? Ethyl alcohol. And polyvinyl siloxane, this is also known as addition silicon. We have hydrogen gas is liberating, so this zinc is added as a scavenger to not let those hydrogen gases evaporate, okay. And then we have polyether. This very special characteristic of polyether is this was the first elastomer which was being used for the purpose of impression. dental impressions. Okay, then everything else was taken, but polyether was the first one जिससे कि dental impression लिया गया, and polyether can conduct electricity, so that's a very good thing. So any electroplated dye and everything is compatible with dye them also. Okay, so that's about polysulfide, condensation silicon, addition silicon, and polyether. Among the two type of silicons, that is condensation and addition, which is better? Mostly the addition silicon is better, more dimensional accurate and more stable. Condensation, you need to pour it very fast, like alginate आप impression लेते हो फट से pour करते हो, वैसे ही condensation को भी जल्दी से impression लेना है, जल्दी से pour करना है, to not have the dimensional damage. Okay, so that's it. So this is a brief about the different classification of impression materials. We use it regularly. We use it in regular dental use and in preclinical exercises also. So thank you.